The UAE's first female independent filmmaker is in the process of making history. Emirati Naila Al Khaja is currently creating the first film to be produced by a UAE national outside the UAE. Joining us now is the woman herself, Naila Al Khaja. Thank you very much for joining us,
Thank you for having me.
Malal is a film it actually means bored in Arabic. What is the film about?
Well, basically the film is about a state of boredom, which is an extreme state of irritation when you're married to someone and your marriage is so boring that you don't know what to do with it. So it's about that challenge and how do you inspire your married life through different perspectives. How do you change your perspective and what you can do? Obviously, it's not like a documentary or anything, but the film really follows the life of a woman on her last day of her honeymoon and what happens to her during that trip and the inspiration she finds, ironically, not from the husband, but from the people, the actual natives from South India.
Wow, that's fascinating. And marriage is such a fascinating subject, especially in the region. It's a hot topic that everybody wants to know about.
It's very hot. And what's exciting, we have Emirati talent in it with South Indian talent. So it's really great that the two countries are working side by side.
Great. Now, Naila, how does it feel to be the first Emirati to produce a film overseas?
Oh my God, it's definitely not my comfort zone. Because when you're here you can negotiate prices and everything, and you definitely need a very clever producer from South India itself to bring down the prices. We're extremely lucky actually to have found a producer here in the UAE from Abu Dhabi 2454. They're giving us post-production facilities, partly also funding the film and training 3 Emirati women to come on set, shooting in Ramadan with long working hours, and using in the deep forests of Munar with a 35-man crew. So it's going to be
great.
It's going to be fireworks.
That's fascinating. I noticed that you're going to be filming in the deep forest. So how will you be doing that? Because the film is focused mainly in a forest type of area.
That's correct.
Can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. I just came back actually from a location scouting, and we did a recce in Munar. And Munar is located in the south of India. It's a heaven. It's an untapped area. A lot of GCC people don't know about that place, and they have resorts, especially for honeymooners and whatnot. But what's especially intriguing, it's extremely luscious with like animals and real nature and backwaters. And I think it will be a challenge because we'd have to go on really narrow roads and the altitude is really high. So guess what? I'm taking tons of pills to avoid nausea.
Great. Now, you've received lots of support locally. What do you think about filmmakers that are coming up in the UAE? Do you think there's enough support for them as well?
During my time, because I started 8 to 9 years ago with people like Ali Mustafa, Nawaf Al-Janahi, who are, you've heard of City of Life and Nawaf's film Sea Shadow. When that group started, we didn't have much infrastructure. There was nothing in the country at that time. But right now, the young Emirati filmmakers are extremely lucky to have all these different bodies supporting them and helping them. And now we have 3 women coming on board, training with us in that rigorous, situation. I think they're going to come out and just make their next film soon, and there's so much available resources at the moment. It's fantastic.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure to have you on the show. Emirati filmmaker Naila Al Khaja.